Speculation in Magic the Gathering has gone horribly wrong. Recently for Magic the Gathering, speculating on Magic cards has become a hot topic. A lot of players are wondering what happened to the old speculators and if there's a future in speculating in Magic cards with upcoming sets and the rumor of tighter production runs. Welcome back everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Before we get today's video started, a reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and of course adding some comments to the comment section to keep the conversation going. So when we're using the term today, speculation, let's get a context of what it means in terms of Magic cards as well as in finance. Speculation is investing with an extremely short time frame. One gambles that the item purchased will appreciate rapidly in value, at which time it can be sold for a quick profit. On the surface, that simplistic explanation of speculation seems pretty solid in point. You are taking an item that you believe is going to go up in value. You are hoping to have a short turnaround time frame where the item becomes popular, becomes highly sought after, and you can sell it back into the market, make your money, and get out. And in case of Magic cards, before Wizards of the Coast has a chance to reprint this product or before the card loses its popularity. Now in the world of Magic, that's getting harder and harder to do, which means there are less people taking chances speculating en masse. But that doesn't mean that speculation is not happening, because as we've learned in finance, the idea of a risk reward where you can hopefully come out on top is a very addictive thing for players. Now, when we take a look at the financial term speculation, take a look at this one. In the world of finance, speculation or speculative trading refers to the act of conducting a financial transaction that has substantial risk of losing value, but also holds the expectation of a significant gain or other major value. Now in that second definition, the financial definition of speculation, there's a section there that says you are taking a substantial risk, spending your money, in this case on a Magic card, with the hopeful potential of a major win. You're going to get a lot of money by trading these cards in to players, to stores, whatever, and you're going to make a lot of money back. That is now missing from the current Magic market. So what do I mean by that? I mean, players no longer believe these cards have the value associated with them, which is why the major speculators have left the market. That and things like the 30th anniversary, the reprint schedule from Wizards of the Coast have chased away so many speculators from the market that we are now living in an entirely different market. When Wizards took a first-hand approach and kind of made it known that they have things like the economic team, that they had the 30th anniversary attempting to crack the vault of the reserve list in many players' eyes, they've tampered directly with the secondary market. It's very blatant, very obvious to most players. And now players are fearful and do not believe that that high risk is going to result in a probable chance or a likely chance or maybe even a snowball's chance of a high reward. They just don't believe it anymore. They don't believe they've got a shot because they've got to buy the cards, store the cards, have the carrying cost, the transaction fees, and try to sell all these cards before a reprint happens. I'm not saying it doesn't still happen. There are still speculators out there taking their chances and hoping for a big win. Some of them very skilled at it, very quick to adapt to what's going on. Others taking their first chances, hoping to make it big because they like the addictive side of what they're doing, and they think that the card that they've chosen as their speculation is the next big winner. It's like picking a horse. My horse is going to come in first. It's going to make me a lot of money. That is the addictive side of speculation. And that sometimes is a problem unto itself, because you're not being objective about what that card can do and which formats that card could be played in and under what circumstance that card is going to go off and make you a lot of money. Again, some players are very good at it. Some players just get lucky a couple of times, and some people burn out quickly and never come back. But with things like Troll and Toad, when they left the market space saying too many variants, 30th anniversary, not enough profit margin, they're basically telling Wizards the risk is not worth the reward. So does that mean the speculators are gone from the market forever? Absolutely not. This is what you guys need to understand. We're what? How far in the video are we? Like 6-7 minutes, wherever we're at? Understand that this change in the market space is likely not going to hold. If Wizards tightens the production runs, if they make the cards hard to get, if they do certain things to tweak everything, yes, it's still blatant and obvious manipulation in the market, but it will turn the market around if they keep a tight control on it. It would do better if they actually did some kind of policy thing where everyone could follow the rules of how they're doing it, but they're not going to be that nice to us because they want to be able to switch this up whenever it suits them. Mainly, if they get a tight control on it, if they turn the market around the next 2 or 3 years, and it will take that long, 2 or 3 years, then what happens is, players start to believe. They start coming back to the market. They start speculating more. That drives the prices up of these cards. And then Wizards of the Coast can choose to tap into that equity and reprint things all over again, maybe even at accelerated rates. Remember, it's like a giant yo-yo. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes you're just walking the dog, taking your time. They've realized how far they can push the market. They've seen the blowback and kickback from things like 30th anniversary. So I think they're starting to learn the edges of where they can go and where they're going to hit a wall of opposition. And there have been lots of players who, of course, that wall of opposition was, I'm just leaving. I'm gone. I think some of those players will come back. I do. And I think some of these players who are speculating will come back to the market when it looks more attractive. Just like a real financial market. Sometimes people get scared and they run away from the market. And other times, the market looks good, looks juicy. You've seen the right type of stock options you think are going to do well, and you dive in head first with your hard-earned money, hoping to come out ahead. Sometimes you hit it big, like Mox Amber. Other times I'm talking about myself here, and obviously I can lose big with cards like Utter End and the Biblioplex. You don't always win. You're just hoping to win more than what you lose. And right now, Wizards of the Coast, the way they're doing the market space, they have taken that away from the market space. Nobody believes it because they're afraid of reprints coming too quickly. They're worried about the cost of the cards being so much that it just doesn't justify people buying those types of cards right now unless they get a lucky pack. It's really come back to that kind of gambling persona. Is my horse going to come in first type deal? And you're taking that gambling persona to say, yes, I think so. It's really kind of one of those strange occurrences that seems to come around every couple of years in the financial world, but it also is hitting, like any other collectible, Magic the Gathering. Now, the real question will be, can Magic recover? Unlike things like Beanie Babies, which are probably still collected, but will never have that same financial value they used to have. That's where we have to see where things will go. There will always be certain Magic cards worth money, especially reserve list cards, the first editions. But how about the rest of the game as it continues to evolve? If Wizards pulls the right levers and jerks the right strings, I think they can make it happen. So be careful out there. Pay attention to what's going on in the market. If it's somewhere you want to play in, make sure you're taking what you can afford to risk and understand it can go to zero in a second. I'm looking at my Biblioplex collection. I love that card. And yes, they can always turn around and still go off later. It can still become a big thing later, but you got to hold it a lot longer than what that first little observation was about tight turnaround times. You got to be on top of the market, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the channel. I'd love to see your comments in the comment section, how you feel the speculation is going. Have you ever hit it big? Have you ever lost big? Put it down in the comment section. Join the conversation. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons on the channel, the supporters who make it happen each and every day. Without these supporters, daily uploaded content would not be possible. So again, thanks to everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Okay, you're here at the end of the video. Shop smart, shop S-smart. This is the blue version. I have the black one, the blue one. I bought different ones. I thought it would be nice. Okay, so the ramble jamble here. Best speculations, worst speculations. We already know what my best was. Okay? Most of you will think it's Mox Amber. But it's not. It's not my best speculation ever. It's one of my biggest hitting ones in the terms of it's really well known. Okay? But my best speculation is not. It's my collector edition cards. When I bought all those Moxes, when they were like 20 bucks each, 5 bucks each, 10 bucks each, as proxy versions, because I didn't want to make cheap proxies, I said, I could buy collector edition. I bought so many that I've made a lot of money on those cards over the years as they rose in value. I should have waited longer. But at the time when I was doing a lot of buying and selling before I got on YouTube, I think that was probably one of my best speculations. Now, the most well-known one is, of course, Mox Amber. That's because I have the most in the world. People are like, that's crazy. I get, yes. And I did it as a lark. Just $5 each a card, buy as much as you can. I was buying from everybody back then. And it made me a lot of money, and I'm glad I sold when I did. I still have the largest collection, but now the collection has paid for itself. So the initial value is paid, so even if these things go to zero, it doesn't matter now. Made my money back. And I look at that now and I go, would I take the same chances nowadays? Would I take the same hit? Well, the Biblioplex, I was paying $5 for that card at some points when it first got released because I see the potential. You gotta think, imagine any sorcery being able to draw it, or at the same time, it also acts like a what do you call it, a Syldevi Excavation. You can look at the top card and you can decide to put it, right? You can decide to get rid of it. That still lets you kind of scry. It's still nice. Yes, you have to have a certain amount of cards in your hand, but that's not that hard to do nowadays, especially in a commander deck. So I still like the card. I still think it has potential. As we get more and more sorceries, you might see decks built around that at some point. I still use it in 4 of my commander decks now. Plays very well each time. It's great. Doesn't come into play tap, no drawbacks. It's great. But it never hit it big. It never hit where I thought it was going to hit. Same with Utter End. Utter End, I bought foil copies for $25 each for a foil copy at release, which means I bought like 8, which is what? That's like $200. And because it was like Vindicate, but it was better, I figured, because it was instant speed. The 1 black, 1 white, 2 generic, you can exile a non-land permanent, okay? But it never went anywhere. It went down to like $1 or $2. It just never became anything. And I was just like, oh. It happens though. You lose money sometimes, you make money. But overall, I myself can say I've come out way further ahead than I ever did falling behind on things. When you win big, great. But when you lose, you want to lose small. So, certain things you got to look for. So I understand most people aren't watching the video at this point, and I didn't want to drag things out too badly, but when you look at keywords in the game, when I looked at Mox Amber, for example, it said target legendary creature, right, or planeswalker. And I said, well, you'd never use it. I said, what circumstance would that card be used? Then you start realizing, wait a second. We have like a Reese the Redeemed. They already have like some low-level casting cost guys, so chances are they're going to make more. So when I cracked the code on that, and I was 100%, 110% right, and they started making these low-level guys like Ragavan and stuff, all these legendary guys cost next to nothing. All these low-level planeswalkers and legendary creatures, it makes a card like Mox Amber really trigger. Like it's a really good card now. It can be played because there's so many other low casting cost stuff, okay? Amazing. How often does that happen now, though? Where you can crack the code ahead of everything and really get ahead. It's harder to do, but it's still possible. There are certain cards that give you that kind of in, right? So just keep your eyes out. And yeah, maybe I'll do a follow-up video. Maybe I'll just put something up on the Patreon board. We'll see. Either way, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. That's the Ramble Jamble. That's where we're at. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, the coffee's done.